Hi everybody, welcome to week 3 of your online lecture for English 2. Of course, we'll be studying Unit 3 today. In Unit 3, we'll be looking at some count and non-count nouns, as well as quantifiers. And in general, we'll be talking about our life with food. To start things off, we're going to look at some vocabulary. Okay. Now in today's vocabulary, we'll be looking at the names of different foods. I'm sure you're very familiar with them. So what I would like you to do is turn in your books to page 20, and we're going to review all the foods that we know of. Okay? And what we're going to do is have you fill in these squares with the letters of the matching words. Okay? So if you look at the first one, this picture here we have of white bread. Somebody has already included the letter A. So they've matched the picture with the word. Okay. You can do the same with all of the other words that are listed here and see if you can match them with each picture. Okay. I'm going to give you some time to do that on your own. When we're finished, we'll review the vocabulary and then we'll review the activity. Okay, so now that you've filled in the squares here with the matching letters, we're going to review not by matching the answers, we're just going to go over the vocabulary itself. Okay. Now again, this is something you can study with at home, and it allows you to practice vocabulary on your own. This is a word you may not need so much help with. But now you know the word bread, and you know what it looks like. Okay? You even know what it sounds like. If you press on this icon, you can hear the word bread enunciated for you, okay? And along with a translation. So this is some home study that you can do from the ebook that I'm using right now. All right. Let's just quickly go through each of these pictures. So that's bread. This is chicken. This must be chicken breast. This is cheese. Looks like Swiss cheese. Okay. And these are strawberries. Okay. So the word is strawberry, and we'll be giving you the singular form in each of these pictures. So we have many strawberries in this picture. Cucumber. Okay. So many cucumbers and many slices of cucumbers. Pasta. Okay. You can see farfalla, you can see some spaghetti here, and many other types of pasta. Okay. Bean. Okay. And you see many different types of beans. I can see some lentils, some lima beans, and what looked like dangkong, one of the pictures. Beef. Okay. So it's a meat from a cow. And potato, or potatoes. Onions. Rice. You see a lot of rice in this picture, okay, whether in the plant form or coming out of the bag. Watermelon. So we see one watermelon cut into many pieces. pieces of watermelon. Fish. Okay. So even if you eat one fish, maybe with a friend, you can eat two fish. Okay, so one fish, two fish. Tomatoes. And in this picture, we see some plums. If you know what jadu is. Okay, so the word is plum. We see many plums. Okay, so now that we know that, we can probably do the activity here very easily. Okay, so letter A is done for you. Maybe we'll just go through each of these and pick and choose what we see. I'm going to start right in the middle. Maybe I'll use the practice activity. That would be better. So right here in the middle, we have a red vegetable, or is it a fruit? The answer? I think those are tomatoes. Okay, correct. Down here, there's a picture we saw earlier. Okay, this would be beef. H. Correct. Let's try another one up here in the top corner. I think we can barely make out a red fruit. Okay, and that is a watermelon. Correct again. This picture, we see some long yellowish strands. I think that's pasta. We just saw a picture of that on the word cards. Good. Okay. This collection of black beans. We're going to put beans. Good. And over here, instead of white beans, we have some, or black beans, we have some white grains. We're going to call that rice. Good. Down here in the corner, these green vegetables. Okay. Look like some OE. We're going to put the letter E for cucumbers. Good. Another white vegetable here. What is it? Onions. The letter is J. Correct. This pinkish meat here. Chicken. And at the top here, what do we got? Plums. Jadu. Good. Down here, okay, we see this fish, and that's what we would call it, the meat. So when we eat fish, we call it fish. When we eat chicken, we call it chicken. But when we eat cows, we call it beef. Okay? So this fish is letter M. There we go. Okay. This vegetable here is a potato. This is two potatoes. In the corner here, these red pieces of fruit, or red. Those would be strawberries. That would be D. And that leaves one left, and that should be C, cheese. Okay, so again, looks like we got all those correct, and nothing else to check here. So now that we know what all of these are, we're going to categorize them just to see how much you know about nutrition. So you might know the names of foods, but we're going to categorize all these foods in different categories at the bottom. Now the categories are meats, okay, dairy foods, okay, so food that has a milk base, grain food, so that would be any sort of grain, and then we come to fruit and vegetables. Okay, I'm not sure how you distinguish these two categories. These are often used in the same category. Okay, but let's see how you do. You don't have to do it perfectly. So what you're going to do is take all of these words listed here, and again the pictures are here, and you're just going to write the letter in each category. So letter A is done for you. Okay, so bread is a grain food. Okay? And B, chicken, is it a vegetable, a fruit, a grain food, a dairy food, or a meat? Okay? You can choose that, put the letter in here. I'm going to pause this, and when we're finished, we can review. Okay, so once again, I'm going to review this on, on the ebook. So again, this is something you can review on your own when you have time on your own. And what we're going to do is we have the picture here. We're going to drag all of these words into the different categories. Okay. So we'll just start with any of them. Watermelon, I believe, is a fruit. Onion, I believe, is a vegetable. Rice, I would think of as a grain food. Okay, so you see a grain food like this rice, okay, kind of granular, small pieces. Okay, often with high levels of protein. Pasta, I would also put as a grain food. Bread, okay, comes from wheat. So wheat is a grain, and we can include that in there. Plum is a fruit. Fish, put that down as meat. Okay, so it's kind of the flesh of an animal. Cheese would be a dairy food. So as I said, dairy is anything based on milk. Okay, so that kind of product. Chicken. Okay, so again, you can eat a chicken. Let's go strawberry. It's an easier one. It's a type of fruit. Cucumber is a type of vegetable. Potato. Vegetable. Beef. Okay. That'd be a type of meat. Bean. So we saw some black beans here. I thought those were grains. I think your book categorizes them as vegetables. Anyway, and tomato. Fruit, vegetable, vegetable, fruit. I'll put it down as a vegetable. Okay. All right. So again, I don't know if you agree or disagree with my categorization. The book does not. So I managed to get all of the answers correct here. Again, some people think tomato is a fruit simply because it has seeds. I guess they must think a cucumber is also a fruit. I think those maybe botanists believe that. Maybe nutritionists believe fruits are sweeter in taste, so they get categorized differently. Okay. Most people think of a tomato as a vegetable. Okay. And again, if you want to do that again, you can reset it, and they've mixed up the categories again, and you can do this match and drag and match activity as many times as you want. Okay. Good. All right, let's move on down to the listening activity. Okay, as per usual, we're going to listen to a dialogue between two people. Okay. If you have a textbook, and you should have a textbook by now, please close your textbook. We're just going to do some simple listening. This should help you when you do the CBT. So we're going to do a listening only activity. Okay. Okay, you're going to hear a dialogue between two people, a man and a woman. Let's see how much information you can get from the first listening. Here is your first listening.
Dialogue Module 3. We have some milk. Listen to the dialogue, then read it with a partner.
Hi, Tom. Are you almost home?
No, I'm at the supermarket.
Oh, can you buy some eggs and cheese?
Sure. How many eggs? How much cheese?
A dozen eggs and a large brick of cheddar cheese.
Okay. Do we need any milk?
No, we have some milk. We don't need any more.
Can you think of anything else?
That's all. See you soon.
Okay, did you get that? All right. So we heard a man and a woman having a conversation, and we are going to listen to them one more time. This time, we're going to listen to it as we try to answer some comprehension questions. Okay. Okay, so we have 4 questions today. First question: where is Tom? Okay, so Tom is the man in the conversation. We're going to I want you to find out where he is as he's talking in the conversation. 2, does Beth need cheese or milk? Okay, so she needs one, not both of them. Which one does she need? Number 3, how many eggs does Beth need? Okay, it's a bit difficult, that's fine, but see if you can get the answer. How many eggs does Beth need? Number 4, where is Beth? Okay, so earlier we're asking where is Tom. Now we're just going to find out where is Beth. So I'll leave these 4 questions on the screen, and you can answer the questions as we listen a second time.
Dialogue Module 3. We have some milk. Listen to the dialogue, then read it with a partner.
Hi, Tom. Are you almost home?
No, I'm at the supermarket.
Oh, can you buy some eggs and cheese?
Sure. How many eggs? How much cheese?
A dozen eggs and a large brick of cheddar cheese.
Okay. Do we need any milk?
No, we have some milk. We don't need any more.
Can you think of anything else?
That's all. See you soon.
Okay, let's listen again. I'll just put the track on again, and you can check your answers. Here's your third and final listening.
Dialogue Module 3. We have some milk. Listen to the dialogue, then read it with a partner.
Hi, Tom. Are you almost home?
No, I'm at the supermarket.
Oh, can you buy some eggs and cheese?
Sure. How many eggs? How much cheese?
A dozen eggs and a large brick of cheddar cheese.
Okay. Do we need any milk?
No, we have some milk. We don't need any more.
Can you think of anything else?
That's all. See you soon.
All right, let's check our answers by referring to our books. You can open your books now to page 20, or just refer to the screen. So we had to find out 2 questions about placement. Number 1, where is Tom? Okay. Tom, I think we know, as it says here. Hi, Tom, are you almost home? He says, no, I'm at the supermarket. Okay. So the answer for number 1, where is Tom? He's at the supermarket. 2, does Beth need cheese or milk? Okay. Beth asks, can you buy some eggs and cheese? Okay. So the answer is cheese. Later, Tom asks, do we need any milk? And Beth says no. Okay. So cheese, yes. Milk, no. 3, how many eggs does Beth need? Okay. In fact, Tom asked that question. And the answer, a dozen. A dozen eggs. Okay. So usually in the West, when people buy eggs, they are in a pack of 12. Okay. You can also get a half dozen or other amounts. But a dozen eggs is the standard size. Okay. And a dozen is 12. So you might hear the word dozen used. It means the same thing as 12. I don't know the origin, but it's a very common, it's very commonly used to signify 12, especially a pack of 12. And a dozen eggs is much more common than saying 12 eggs. Okay. And finally, number 4, where is Beth? The answer? I don't know. I assume she's at home. She asked Tom, "Are you almost home?" And then when he says he will pick up some eggs and cheese, she says, "See you soon." So I imagine that she's at home waiting, or she's at home needing the eggs and cheese. Good. Okay, so you can come back and refer to this dialogue at any time in your textbook or on the ebook. You can listen to it on the ebook at any time. And we might come back and look at it today because we're going to be looking at some grammar. Okay. In this example, you see some examples of quantifiers, or people trying to talk about an amount of products. So in this case, how many eggs, how much cheese. Okay, so they kind of have the same not the same meaning so much, but certainly the same usage. Okay, we're talking about an amount of cheese and a number of eggs. Okay, so it's just kind of a vague term to signify these products. Okay, and we'll see other examples here. Do we need any milk? So we'll see this word used in a lot of questions, and in this one, in a lot of statements, okay? And in also some negative statements as well. This is explained in, or given some better examples at the top here, and at the top of page 21. And you can see the examples here with the quantifiers. Of course, in English, you're probably already familiar with the use of singular words, okay, and plurals. And these are for words that you're able to count. Okay? So any countable noun will have an S in its plural form, okay, or may have other plural forms as well. But usually for products, if it could be just a general product or a liquid, especially water or juice or soup, or something that is in small pieces, large amounts, that would be uncountable. You wouldn't be able to count pieces of water or pieces of juice or even pieces of rice. So it's impossible, or nearly impossible, to count all the pieces. So we just do not add any sort of countable forms. So there's no plural S for these examples here, and you'll see that in other products as well. For example, at the bottom here, see the word butter. Okay. So we would never say butters to refer to individual pieces. You might have a pound of butter or 450 grams of butter, but it would never be butters. Okay. Now we can see some of the phrases we use. A lot of and some can be used for both countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Okay, so I have again, I have a lot of potatoes. I could count the potatoes, but there's so many I don't want to be bothered, or I don't know the number right now. Again, with eggs, I have some eggs in the basket, but I don't know the exact number. As we said before, when we're using the words many and much, they have pretty much the same meaning, but we would use many with count nouns, and for non-count nouns we'd have much. So it's a much for an amount, and many for things. Okay. Even if you want to talk about excess amounts, too many eggs or too much soup. Okay, so that adverb to just added on the end, and the same rules apply for countable non-countable or uncountable nouns. If the amount is small, again, if it's a countable noun, few indicates a number. If it's a non-count noun or an uncountable noun, a little. I have a small amount of butter. I have a little butter. I have a bit of butter. Okay, so looking at some and any, just erase that. You might hear people talk about some and any, that they would use some for affirmative statements and any for negatives and questions. That's not quite right. We'll see at the bottom here we're using some and any for both kinds of questions. But again, for some, using with positive statements, we have some bananas, we have some juice. So we're using some with both countable nouns and non-countable nouns. Okay, and same thing with any. Okay, any wine pairs well. He drinks any juice. So wine, I guess it's a non-count noun in that case. But you could say any glass of wine. Anyway, so these are not used in the same sense as they are down here. I guess is maybe a better example. Any bananas, any milk. So bananas is a count noun and milk is a non-count noun. In this case here, any is being used to distinguish one from many choices. So any wine pairs well with cheese, whether it's Merlot or Bordeaux or Pinot Noir. It goes well with cheese. So any wine is okay with cheese. Okay. So any wine of many choices. This one, he drinks any juice. So he drinks tomato juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice. Okay. Any juice that is available is a juice that he drinks. Okay. Choose any snack from the shelf. So you have many choices of snack. Choose one. Okay, so that meaning is a bit different here. Here they're looking for any amount. If there's any noticeable quantity. We don't have any bananas. We don't have. There isn't any milk. So not only do we not have enough milk, there is no milk. There is not any remaining amount of milk. With questions, do you need any milk? Are there any potatoes? Okay, so you're again asking if this is something you need. This is more of a quantifying question. Are there any potatoes? 1, 2, 3? No? Okay. So that's what you're trying to find out. So any, that there's at least one. Do you need, or in this case, do you need at least some? Questions with some are often, as we see here, they're offers or people making requests. Can I take some crackers? Would you like some juice? Okay, so this more practical language. Okay, so you can see that down below. Let's move down to the speaking activity. And we can do this one right away. Okay, this last activity, you can do it on your own. It's kind of fun. It says look at the picture and choose 3 foods you want to eat, 3 you do not. Okay. They give you 2 examples at the side. I want some salad. I don't want any bread. Now, if I was to try this, I might say something like, I would like some shrimp. I would like some soup. And I would like a bagel. Okay. I don't want any watermelon. I don't want any salad. And I don't want any lobster. Okay. So you can try that on your own. Notice that how I used the negatives and how I counted some of the objects here. Just try that on your own. We won't review. In fact, we'll go straight after this lecture to the second lecture, which will involve more speaking activities. Okay? So think of the speaking 1 activity as a warm-up to the next lecture. And I will see you soon at lecture number 2.